Greetings brothers, welcome to a very fast, no bullshit video on the new Storm Speeder. So we've got 5 main points to go over. We're going to look at his weapon options and profiles, we're going to do some Mathhammer, we're going to look at the various strategy tactics, then we'll compare it against some similar units, and finally we'll end with a bit of summary and costs. So grab yourself a brew, buckle up, here we go. So if you want to see any more details, please pause the video. We're going through the slides very quickly. So we'll look at the Hailstrike, which is our colour-coded in red, and it's very much our anti-DACA. Well, then you look at the Thunderstrike, which is going to be colour-coded in blue, and it's good at longer range and also against other aircraft. Then finally, in colour-coded in green, is the Hammerstrike, which is going to be really the heavy-hitting anti-armour version of the Storm Speeder, and the profiles here as well if you want to check it out. So if you watch this channel, you'll see every week we do a lot of Mathhammer. Here are all the weapons colour-coded out, so you can see basically how much damage they will do against different toughnesses. 4, 7 and 8 seem to be the usual range that we look across. Again, if you want to see this, pause the video, moving straight on to the next slide. So then we've taken all the data from the previous slide and brought it in here, and we've actually hit it up against various different enemies with toughness and armour. You can see here. So the numbers in the columns now are the actual numbers of damage that you would do, factoring like rolls to hit, rolls to wound and rolls to save. Now to get a little bit more perspective, at the bottom I've also put down the number of total hits. So if you're hitting into like infantry or armour or whatever, you can kind of see the number of shots that these vehicles will actually have. And then on the far right column I've actually put down how many points on the board you need to do 1 damage. So when we talk about damage per point, the lower number is definitely the better. You're basically saying for 18 points in that first column about infantry. With the Storm Speeder Hammerstrike, then for every 18 points that the Hammerstrike costs, you do 1 damage in the shooting phase. So again, all the numbers are here and you can very much compare everything you want, but we're going to move straight on. So then we've looked at survivability, and on survivability in this channel we always exclude the roll to hit. So basically you've already been hit 60 times, that will kill you with bolt rifles, so on and so forth. Again, you can pause the slides if you want to see more of it, and we will compare this a little bit later in the video to some other things of similar point value. So for stratagems, there's 2 that spring to mind, and the first one is Skillful Riders, so very much like a smoke screen. When designated as a target in the shooting phase, we can make the enemy -1 to hit. And then the second one would be our hit and run warfare, which lets us fall back out of close combat and shoot. So when you look at these Storm Speeders, they have a 16-inch move, so they're very much like an ATV or an attack bike, or even maybe like a Storm Talon, very mobile, able to jump around the battlefield and pick off key targets or armour. That's how I see them, and unfortunately like the red version, the Hailstorm, just performed very badly when we were doing a Mathhammer. So if you're getting value out of the video, please smash that like button just like we smashed the Tyrannids as they came to Baal. Now I've grabbed 6 units that come in very similar point costs. I mean, the Redemptor Dreadnought is a bit of a strange one, but all the others fill a very similar role. I just want to put that Redemptor down because he always comes out very well when we do these comparison videos, and yeah, I mean he's a great all-round unit for Blood Angels at the moment, so using him as sort of like a base is a really good place for comparison. We've colour-coded them, thrown down all their weapon options. So then we've put all the damage here down in this new table, and I guess the standout winners are our attack bikes. No surprise, something with multi-melta is doing really well. You can see now why lots of people run plasma and scepters. This is them firing on high power, but they definitely can do a lot of damage. And then the Redemptor Dreadnought, like I said, it kind of comes in the middle. It's always very average, but it's always up and around there, very cost effective for its points, both in survivability and shooting. So here, when we actually compare in the Storm Speeders, then, I mean, really, there isn't a whole lot of great here for the point costs. I mean, I guess the great will be the fact that they can move 16 inches, and then if we compare up the survivability, which we'll do now. So when we compare it against other things, if we look at other things filling the same battlefield role, it does have a 16-inch move, so that the closest comparison then would be your regular land speeder, and if you did take 2 of them for pretty much the same amount of points, they're actually just going to be 20% more survivable because they have 2 more wounds, which is 20% more wounds. 8 Invader ATVs and attack bikes, again, generally are just as survivable. Obviously they do not fly though, so in terms of does it do anything super special within this sort of fast attack shooting role? Not really. So if we jump in and look at a quick summary, I guess as the meta has shifted towards multi-meltas, it was interesting to see those multi-melt attack bikes perform really, really well. I mean, I guess if you were just looking for something that does shooting, then I think point for point Eradicators are still your best option. The speeders were generally outperformed by numerous other options. Go back and have a look at the slide if you want to see more. I think for me, the Hammerstrike is definitely the most interesting. I mean, it does just have that 24-inch range, but with the 16-inch move, I don't think range is going to be a big issue. I mean, you could take the Thunderstrike for a little bit longer range, and I guess some anti-vehicle presence, but like the red version, the Daka Hailstorm, just underperformed totally. Like, I do not think it is a good viable choice right now. I often fire heavy stubbers on stuff like repulsors and they never seem to do much, and I think this is very much going to suffer from the same problems. Maybe there's a situation where against a toughness 3 army the Hailstorm can do some work, but I mean, I really just don't advise it. And then I guess for survivability, it was very much middle of the board. The fact that 2 land speeders will actually be 20% more survivable for the same points is a little bit disappointing, especially when you start splitting wounds across multiple models. Then you're going to see even more value if they start wasting multiple wound weapons on one of the land speeders. So my overall verdict for the Stormstrike is thumbs halfway. I mean, the rule of cool applies here. It is a great looking Primaris model, and the Primaris kits are super fun and easy to build and very satisfying. So if you want to pick one up, definitely go ahead. However, in terms of overall competitiveness, yeah, I just don't think it's going to see too much play in the top tier, and if it does get some play, it's going to be quite situational. And then finally, it's going to be £42 here in the UK and $65 US. And please let me know in the comments down below if you are considering the Storm Speeder. Was this video helpful? Which variant are you going to build, or are you going to continue to run something else? I'd love to hear from you. If you want to support the channel, there are some links in the video description below, and you can also now join and become a channel member. I hope to see you all in the next video. By the blood are we made, brothers. Peace.